Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming to the last lecture of this semester. Seems to go by quite quick again. Next semester's lectures are moving to a whole new building, Clearview building. We've got notices in our newsletter and pamphlets and stuff like that. So we'll continue to try to get the word out about the new classroom and building. Obviously for you guys online, it's the same bad channel every week. And I should give everyone a reminder that those that make a full semester in class, live or online, get a certificate of completion from the club at the university and the Hempology 101 nonprofit society as well. So today's class is a lecture on the history of the Cannabis Buyers Club of Canada. And it's something that is obviously near and dear to my heart. Next semester is the class on Hempology. In a way it's kind of reversed because I actually started Hempology first. I went to meetings in Vancouver, came here in September 1995 to have different Hempology activities occur, get a club here on campus and otherwise. When I moved here to Victoria in September '95, I really only knew one girl in town at the time who I'd, and some of her friends, I guess, but really, no one in the movement or any long-time friends at all. I bought a van the weekend that I moved here in September of 1995, and I still have Priscilla. She's on cement blocks on Gail's property up Island. This is her current home. I've packed her around for well over a decade after she's broken down, as now she's kind of a camping home for me and others. But anyway, after International Medical Marijuana Day, which we just had a little while ago, I realized through the commitment I even made that day that I needed to start providing services to people with medical need in Victoria, and tried to find research about Dennis Perron and the Cannabis Buyers Club in San Francisco, which was the first of its kind in the world. And I was unable to find out exactly how they operated really. I tried phone calls to see how they were able to determine who qualified and who didn't, and never got very clear answers, or none I was satisfied with, certainly nothing that I wanted to mimic. So aside from choosing the name, myself and a friend of mine, Leslie, who is a woman who lives in James Bay, she made cookies and brownies and the sauve that we still sell, and she helped introduce me to a number of different people and ideas, certainly helped me learn a lot about the AIDS community here in Victoria, and really network within different organizations there once we got up and running. But we did a lot of the thinking to get the Buyers Club up and off the ground. January 1996, we simply made a pamphlet and got a pager and put it out there, assuming that we were going to get arrested. Certainly I just lived in my van at the time. I had nothing to lose, essentially. And so my whole thought was I was going to go out there, sell medical marijuana till I got arrested, and then go to court, beat the government in court, and then be able to get a store. That was kind of the business plan of the Buyers Club. It was assumed that there was no way we were not going to get arrested. This is back in, like I say, 1995, 96. Many things were happening, like CBC was going off in Vancouver. There were other individuals. 96 was actually really the big kind of year in the movement in a lot of ways. But certainly, us starting in January '96 was kicking things off. Grant Krieger was doing things in the prairies. Chris Clay, I think, had his store in London, Ontario, and lots of really great things. And hemp was starting to get grown as well. '94 was the first commercial or industrial hemp crop in Canada, so lots of things were happening with hemp, and other books were being published. So yeah, '96 was really exciting. And so it took a couple months before we got an apartment. Actually, member number 2, Kathleen, my very good friend who was here again this summer. Yeah, I met a couple of young girls that were, Kathleen had cancer, and yeah, another young girl who passed away within a year of meeting her. And they were also a big inspiration for me to help people before they, it was too late, and many of the people I met early on, especially in the AIDS movement, this was kind of what drove us to do something that was both so risky at the time and so new, because people were dying very rapidly with AIDS. It wasn't like it is now, where you can stay alive for a while if you're taking care of yourself. People were getting the disease, and within 6 months there was nothing left, and it was really horrible how quickly it would take their lives. And so the compassion, this is why the word got thrown out, was predominantly because of the speed of the onset of HIV/AIDS, that people started to realize, well, we can't wait for the law to change. We can't wait to lobby anymore. We need to just break this law. We need to just get it to these people now. So Kathleen, yeah, it was kind of one of those cases, just young girl with cancer. It's like, well, we're not waiting for the law to change. She's got cancer. So anyway, we became really good friends. She got an apartment right downtown on Johnson Street, and very quickly opened it up for me to have the club in the afternoon. And she would basically take off, and me and all my crazy street friends would move in, and take over the place for the afternoon, and she'd kick us out, and I'd make her supper or whatever. There's times I was actually a caregiver, taking her to the hospital and stuff as well. It wasn't all that much fun, but certainly it was a struggle in the beginning. Actually, when I started, I was collecting welfare, living in my van. I figured I was provided by the government, so I wouldn't even make money. I would have so little. I would, when I got a call, go to the person's home, get their money, go to my friend's place, get the pot. He'd smoke me a joint. Yeah, I really wish missed my one good friend who helped me out that first year or so. Yeah, he'd smoke me a joint, and then I'd hop back on my bike. I lived in the van, but I just bike around town all the time, bike up to Udeck and around and stuff. So I'd hop back on my bike, take the pot back to the patient or member, and then they'd smoke a joint with me as well for going through all the troubles, and I'd go off on my merry way. Leslie was the one who convinced me that actually I needed to make some kind of profit for the club, that I couldn't expect donations to come in. And when I first started the club, I thought, oh yeah, there's all these people that are going to want this, we'll get donations, blah, blah, blah. And none of that's ever worked out. I've had the odd donation come in. I shouldn't say I haven't gotten any, but nothing like anyone would like to think would happen. No growers have come in through everything. I think the most maybe it's been dropped on me is like a ½ pound. So I've had some very generous people come in with, $1,000 a sort of time. But from the very beginning, I thought, oh gee, somebody's going to come in and see I'm doing really good work and lay a bunch of money on me. And in fact, I even went over to Vancouver right after I got the apartment, was getting things going, had a meeting with Dennis Perron, and I helped start a club over in Vancouver that was originally called the Vancouver Medical Marijuana Buyers Club, I think was the name. Anyway, my friend Teo got it up and running, and so Teo, me, and Dennis Perron had the first international medical marijuana meeting over in Vancouver. Oh, I'm not even going through my thing. Oh yeah, this is early day stuff. So anyway, Mark Emery's office, the 4 of us had the first meeting about what was going to happen with the international medical marijuana kind of movement and where things were going. So the day after, I went to Mark Emery and I asked him for some money to help me get some space, right? I'm like, if I get some space, then I'll be able to get people to really come and help. The apartment was up